I didn't win Miss Africa Great Britain by luck. I won because I trained like it was the Olympics. I wore heels every day. I practiced alone at 2 a.m. And I asked for help even when it was scary. Today I'm giving you the real, unfiltered 6 things I did that made me walk away with a crown.
Category is Bring It to the Runway. What category are you walking in?
Femme Queen Realness.
Femme Queen Realness is in the house.
Ah, so I've snatched before.
And well, honey, you might have that one in the bag. Tens across the board. Hold that pose for me. DJ, start the music.
Welcome to Pageantry Redefined, the podcast where the crown ain't just cute, it's conscious. I'm your host, Deborah Mungai, Miss Africa Great Britain 2024 to 2025, and around here, we're not just strutting stages, we're shaking systems. Whether you're a future queen, a creative, or just trying to serve impact and face, this is your space. Let's talk pageantry, power, and purpose, and everything in between.
Bring it to the runway. Bring it to the runway. Bring it to the runway.
Period. Hi guys. Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode with Miss Africa Great Britain 2024, Deborah Mungai. And let's say I have been MIA, guys. Genuinely, my event happened on the 11th of April. I have also had I'd say a month worth of holiday. I got back, then I went for a spiritual retreat, and that was a whole reset. And then I've been bothered with a little love here and there, you know what I mean? It's we all need love. Listen, even Miss Africa Great Britain needs love, okay? So I've been doing all of that, and recently, actually, I was outside. I was at the club, guys, and tell me why I'm looking at my arm. I'm scratching my arm, as in I'm scratching to a point where I'm getting rashes, and the rashes are dark. I'm like, what's going on? So I come home. I researched what the rashes are about, and apparently it's something to do with if you're not creating, if you're not outputting a lot, it's just a sign for that. It's a spiritual sign for that. And I told you guys my life is spiritual, okay? So I said, okay, so that means my goal is coming back was to be more creative and to just show out my creativity, and that was my sign. So from now on, I hope you will be hearing from me consistently. If I don't, that's still fine, as long as I'm able to produce what I need to produce. Well and good. Now we're gonna get straight into the episode. So I'm gonna be giving you guys 6 tips on what helped me win Miss Africa Great Britain. Now let's start by saying, guys, this is my first ever pageant competition. I've never done any competition before, and honestly, the internet has been the best thing for me to learn how to do things. I think I was looking at the previous queen of, or the past queen of 2023. I was watching other Miss Universe 2023 was a big influence for me, Shanice Palacios. And then recently I realized I've always watched RuPaul's Drag Race since I was 15 years old. So I was thinking I have had a little bit of experience, and according to my personality, I'm very persistent and very driven. So it was aligned, and here we are, and I'm gonna give you guys my 6 secrets, my 6 tips. So let's get into it. So number 1, the first thing that I did was I wore heels every day for a month. When I say every day, I mean every day. As in, if I'm going grocery shopping, heels. If I'm going to the gym, okay, when I was going to the gym, I was really just going to do runway walking, but that was with heels. If I was going to, I've done something crazy enough to even go to London in heels, which is mad, but here we are. But it's been my default because I wear heels. Before I used to wear heels, I was okay with it, but I wanted to be as comfortable as I can on stage. I wanted to stand and feel like I wear heels like it's nothing. And also a big part of getting heels is not just making you look natural and feel natural, but also getting the right pair of heels. So this is a little mother, sister, daughter tip. When you're getting heels for pageantry, what I got taught was make sure that the platform, so you know where your toes and your heel, is it? No, you know where your toes and like the middle of your foot, the start of your foot from your toes to the middle, right? Make sure that that part of your heel has a platform, and then the heel should be like, don't make it a block heel, make sure that it's like a stiletto kind of heel. So the platform helps you balance your feet, because if you have a really long heel, like the actual heel part, and it's too like high and there's nothing to support your toes, your heels end up bending. So that's something that even when I buy heels now, that's one thing that I consider, is just making sure that your heels have that posture, you know what I mean? But that was me. I know that I even went to work in heels for a month, and it was more so like training for posture, training for balance and mindset. And honestly, I feel like it was very beneficial, because me being in heels now, I walk like I can spend the whole day without taking my heels off. As a queen, you're not meant to take your heels off anyway, but I'm now very comfortable in heels, and like heels is like the new thing now. Sometimes even gets to a point where I'm like, I'm not going no club without no heels, but because I'm really tall, sometimes I just don't wear heels and just wear thingy sports shoes, not sports trainers, sports shoes trainers. But yeah, so heels has been number one on there, because you know, confidence is a muscle memory. It's something that you have to exercise. So that was my first tip. My second tip is I did rehearsals at the gym from I think 1 a.m. to 2 to 3 4. It was usually 2 hours being at the gym. I mean, everyone sleeps, but I decided to outwork the competition while no one was watching. So I practiced my walk, I practiced my poses, my turns every night under the gym lights and the mirrors, because discipline is what you do when nobody is clapping for you. I will say that again. Discipline is what you do when no one is clapping for you. No one was telling me to wake up in the morning, go to the gym and practice my walk. No one was doing that. I knew that it is something that if I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna commit 100%. And I don't know, like I remember I shared a story. Go on my Instagram highlights, and look, there was a time I shared that I was at the gym and I was actually wearing my gown at the gym, because I'll tell you guys why I decided to do my walk as well. But this man who was cleaning used to see me every morning, and he was like, what are you doing? This is pure gym. You know, pure gym, crazy things happen. But I was like, I've got a competition, babe. Everyone will look at me like I'm mad now, but when I get the crown, will I be mad anymore? Thank you very much. I know I wouldn't. So yeah. And let me say that this tip, I got it from, so shout out to Sarah. She is a previous queen of Miss Africa Great Britain. So she actually told us, when we did our last rehearsals, she said that she practiced every single turn of her runway. So what I decided to do was like, I'm gonna take that. So I went on YouTube, I looked for walks and like routines of like what people have created, and I saw some that I knew I could do and I felt comfortable doing. So I practiced those walks. I knew what I was gonna do for my swimsuit round. I knew what I was gonna do for my catwalk evening gown. I knew what I was gonna do for my cultural round. And the others is just making sure I've got a bit of flair, a bit of, to it. So yeah. So shout out to Sarah for giving me that tip, because I ran with her. And yeah, it's really cool. And then you know what's great as well is I was recording my walk. I sent it to a few of my mentors. I also had my best friend. She came and she was like looking at my walk, and she was like, yeah, you gotta make sure you stay straight. I gave her tips of the things that she needs to look out for that I shouldn't be doing, and she really like helped me a lot. I've got videos of like me practicing the walk in her room and stuff like that. So it's nice. So get yourself someone who can help you, whether you get a coach to train you or just doing it yourself. Sometimes you just gotta work with the budget, guys. If the budget just gives you doing that, then you gotta do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? Right, so the next tip is I told everyone that I was competing and I asked for support. Now, closed mouths don't get sponsored. I told people, I shared my journey. I DM'd brands, I emailed companies. It wasn't always comfortable, but I learned to advocate for myself. Because if you can't see your vision, why should anyone believe in it? If you can't sell your vision, sorry, why would anyone believe in it? Now, this is a quick story time on what brought the fire for me. And shout out to my auntie Angela. She really helped me. I remember the first thing that she's the first person who really advocated for me. So when I'll put first, before I give you guys her story, when I went for my cruise, and we had the first rehearsals literally the day that we were coming back. So I did my cruise. I was in the cruise. I was like, I don't know if I want to go. I shared this on one of my pageantry episodes on Instagram. I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go. Then I was like, I think I got to like day 7 or day 5 of the cruise, and I was like, nah, I've got to commit to this like 100%. So I remember I started practicing for the song that we were meant to sing together as a group, and I finished. I learned it within like 2 days. The 7th day I ran from Southampton to London to make sure I'm there, and I was actually there on time for the rehearsals. It started at 10 o'clock. I was already there at 10 o'clock, which was amazing. And I think it just showed my commitment as well, you know what I mean? So that was my run. And then I think my auntie also saw my journey, Auntie Angela, and she stood in front of my mum. So this was my mum's birthday party. We had it planned in our community center. She stood and she was like, we've got to support these kids, guys. We've got to make sure we support these girls, and this is what Deborah's doing. Please make sure you give to her fund, make sure you support her, And that's when people started to know that I'm competing. Now that gave me a bit of pressure, because I'm like, girl, like, what if I don't win? Like, what's gonna happen? But it really just gave me like a lot of, I guess, hope, and a lot of, like, I've got someone behind my back. And what's great is she also was able to come for the my crowning, and she just saw me win, and it was just one of the most emotional and most full circle moments for me. So it's letting people in and accepting help. That's one of the things that I learned during my road to the crown, was learning how to accept support, accepting people, because I came to realize, like, after I won, I was like, damn, like, I learned how to accept support, because now that I'm a reigning queen, I cannot do everything by myself. I'm usually the type of person that I want to get it done. I get it done the way I want to get it done. But what do you call it? I just couldn't do it, and I couldn't just do it by myself anymore. You know what I mean? So that was a surreal moment, and now, like, I accept support, and even better enough is, like, now I'm able to accept someone else into this world of mine, and they can be there, and they can be there to support me, which is just very cool. Another thing, when it comes to sponsorships, I get asked a lot about this. Now, sponsorships, for me, how I do them is I make sure I don't just target every single brand. I look at very specific brands. So when it came to my swimsuit, I was like, I want an African brand to sponsor my swimsuit. So I emailed that. It's literally just sending an email, letting them know this is what you want to do and what you're going to give in exchange, whether it's like photos or videos or just promoting their swimsuit. And literally I sent, I think, like 5 or 6 emails, and one got to me, and I had a list of 20. So I said, nah, let me send like 5 or 10, see who's going to get back to me. And one brand got to me. Shout out to Diara Blue. They got back to me and they sent me a swimsuit, and the swimsuit are very high luxurious swimsuits. It's a swimsuit that I still have up to today, and it still looks new and clean. Okay, so yeah, it's selling yourself, even just selling your vision. I know I've also had 2 platforms that supported me. I had Babe Hub UK, and I had a radio station that was very much supporting me, which was really lovely. And it's also your work ethic and showing that you're serious about this and you want to make, something out of this, you know what I mean? So that's my 3rd tip. We're gonna go to my 4th. My 4th tip is, I was always early. Okay, I've been late. The latest I've ever been is 5 minutes late, but I've always been early or on time to every single rehearsal. I was very committed, and being on time is actually about respect for the crown, for the team, and for yourself. I treated every rehearsal like show day, every like it was it, you know, and making sure that I'm giving my 100 best, not saying I'm just not gonna give much a rehearsal and we just wait for the finale. You don't train your mind to do your best all the time, and the best is what makes you win, right? And professionalism is pageantry, you know what I mean? So it's making sure that you're there on time. Even the people that I mentor and I coach, I always let them know, if don't miss a rehearsal, don't miss 5 minutes, that's the grace period, but 10 minutes is crazy. Don't miss your rehearsals. Your rehearsals are really, really important. I also got to see how it impacted people who were not there for rehearsals. They didn't know what to do, they didn't know how to walk, they didn't know how to kind of push themselves. So I'm saying being on time is important. And I also learned after I won, I realized it is important, because now winning the crown, and the things that I learned through the rehearsals, the etiquette, how to talk to people, how to greet people, how to speak to people, how to introduce yourself, how to carry yourself as a queen. Those are the things that you get taught during rehearsals, depending on what pageant you're going for. Like for Miss Africa, we got taught that. And it was just very, very cool, right? Like very cool and very, I'd say, it was very beneficial. It was very, very beneficial. Now, my 5th tip is I found mentors and I actually asked for help. So I reached out to people in the industry, in the pageant industry, people who have been queens, stylists, directors, people like, I spoke to Faith Wambogo, she's Miss Kenya UK, pageant owner, director, I'd say. And Miss Lincolnshire, her name is Mary. She really, really helped me. I was asking her about membership fees. I was asking her about how do I get sponsors? How do I do this? How do I do that? And she was really, really helpful with my journey. And it's literally just asking for help and being like, you know, I'm stuck in this. How can you help me? Because if you sit there and you're like, you don't know what to do, you just sit there, it doesn't really change anything for you. You know what I mean? And honestly, you don't rise alone. Ask, learn, and level up. Even if, okay, this is another thing though, is like, if you reach out to someone and they don't reply, don't stop there. You can send up a follow-up message. If they don't answer, that's okay. Find someone else that's going to help you. There's always going to be someone out there that wants to support you and that sees your potential and sees your dream. And for me, I found those people, and find as many people as you can. Take the advice that is relevant for you and leave the advice that isn't. And mentors always just give you what they know from their own lens, what they understand and what they've been through. Like for me, I always give the mistakes that I've learned from, and also giving what worked for me. And what works for me doesn't always have to work for you, but it's also great to learn and great to know, okay, so this is how it goes, you know what I mean? So yeah. Now, I guess my last tip to finish off is I moved with intention. Would I say I prayed? I did pray. My prayer looks different. My prayer is really manifestation. So I manifested my crown. I will say that. I'll put my hand up. I really manifested this crown, because I think for a week straight, 2 weeks straight, I told myself I won Miss Africa. I won Miss Africa Great Britain. I won Miss Africa Great Britain. The judges loved me. The crown, the crowd loved me. I just kept feeding myself great things. And another thing that I did, I hope I can post the visualization that I did every single day before I go to bed, visualizing myself winning the crown. So even on the day of winning the crown, I remember I remember winning, and I was like, now I'm like, this is exactly what I visualized every single day, and now it's like my reality. What, you know? So I did my visualization every single day, and I always told myself I will win. I will win. I have already won. I am in the reality. I've already won, you know. And just staying grounded in that, and also understanding. So this is another conversation I had with my mom, is she was like, you know, don't get so sucked up into winning. Like, yes, I can accept myself winning, but I'm also detached to a point where winning doesn't define me. Okay, I believe that every single person is a queen, and it's only gonna be one girl who wins. We're all queens, but there's always gonna be one girl that wins. And the main thing of the whole competition is to actually it's about the person that you become at the end of winning that title, because you might win the title and you've learned absolutely nothing, or nothing has changed about you, and that's not to me the point of the actual journey is who you become and what you've learned, and rebranding yourself into a queen. That's like the main thing for me. Faith gives the crown meaning because it wasn't just about serving, it was a purpose bigger than me. And I'm grateful enough that, winning the title for me was meaning impact, meaning platform, meaning touching people that I touching lives that I never knew would happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a very emotional part for me, because I was so persistent, and I said, I'm not this is exactly the reality I'm going to live, because I had nothing else to lose. I had nothing else to lose. So that was kind of my main goal. But these weren't just pageant tips, they were life lessons. Whether you're competing or just trying to win at your goals, remember, preparation, discipline, and asking for help can open doors you thought were locked. Share this episode with a future queen, and don't forget, we are more than a crown. Now, this is where I love and leave you, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.